everybody. And first thing is we will stand up and have our pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the roll. Heather? Here. Jared? Here. Scott? Here. And I'm here, I'm Jane. Okay. Excused Doug Prosser, Steve McElroy, and Dale Baker. Okay. I think we need to make an amendment to our agenda because I forgot to put on approval of the April 16th minutes. So if we could have a motion to add that to the agenda.
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda.
Support.
To add approval of April 16th minutes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay. We're going to now go into, well, okay, geez. All in favor, say aye. Oh, approve the minutes. Jeez. It's going to be one of those nights.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 16th meeting.
Support.
Okay, thank you. They keep me in line, mostly. Okay.
Now we
Going to have,
need
okay. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay. I'm making an announcement now, and that has got to do with some of the behaviors that we've had. For one thing, we have had a formal letter of complaint about somebody feeling they were being physically threatened. And we've had a lot of verbal abuse. Everybody has a right to their opinion, but that opinion needs to be stated in a not vicious way. I'll read from our bylaws. Any irrelevant remarks which are personal, remarks of another person's race, religion, sex, physical condition, ethnic background, beliefs, or similar topics, profanity, and other remarks which are not about the topic before the commission. We respectfully ask that you treat other people with respect. Most of the people who speak are very respectful. There are a few who have not been, and we believe we're going to have a police officer here tonight, and she is going to escort anybody out who cannot control their own behaviors. We understand this is an emotional situation, and you have very intense feelings about it. However, that doesn't excuse inappropriate behavior either. All right? So at this time, we're going to entertain general public comment, and we would like to keep the general public comment to non-solar related objects or issues. So we're going to open the floor to general public comment. Again, we do have sign-in sheets there on the podium, so please, if you would, sign in. We will have a 3-minute time limit. I did say there's a sign-in sheet on the podium.
How's this thing? All right, very good. My name's Alan Russell, 313 Maumee here in the Ville. And if you have children here, because I appreciate that, you want us to use certain language talking, but I'm going to say whatever the hell I want. Okay, I appreciate that. Children, if you're in here, plug your ears, because I'm going to say some real scary things. The 9 scariest words you'll ever hear. I'm with the government, and I'm here to help. Friends, neighbors, and fellow Michiganders, we live in a state defined by landscape, the rolling hills, the fertile black dirt of the farmlands, and the dense forests that have sustained us for generations. Across our state, thousands of acres of prime soil are being covered by glass and silicon. We are told this is the clean future. But when you look beneath the surface, the math doesn't add up, and the legacy we are leaving our children looks like a green paradise. It doesn't look like a green paradise, but more like an industrial graveyard. The first thing we must understand that these solar fields are not blooming because they are the most efficient way to produce power in the state of Michigan. They are blooming because they are artificially sweetened by our tax dollars. Currently, the federal government investment credit covers 30% of the total cost of these massive installations. Nearly a third of the bill is paid before a single photon is captured, not by the energy companies, but by us, the taxpayers. Here in Michigan, we've added even more incentives, including property tax exemptions, and effectively paid private developers to take our land out of production. When a project only makes financial sense because of government handouts, it isn't an innovation, it's dependency. I got a lot of stuff, Public Act 233 has stripped away local control. There's the solar graveyard, okay? We've seen this script before. I mean, as human beings, we recognize patterns better than any creature on earth. We've seen this time and time again. Look at the cautionary tale of the inner city housing project of the 1980s. Those were hailed as the modern solution, fueled by the rush of federal subsidies and grand promises. When the subsidies dried up, the structures, the reality set in, the developers walked away. We were left with hollowed out concrete shells, not backed by any surety bonds to guarantee that in 20 or 30 years, when we're left with this barren land, if there's any recourse, they'll be gone. There's better ways. Small modular reactors, clean, efficient. The technology's almost there. All right, solar is a gamble in a state known for its cloudy winters. SMRs, small modular reactors, don't care if it's gray, January, afternoon. In conclusion, we are currently satisfying our most valuable asset, our land, for a 20-year, okay, very good, thank you. Thank you for yielding your time to me. This is destined for a landfill while ignoring the compact, reliable nuclear technology. Let's stop being the dumping ground for subsidized silicone. Let's protect our farmland, restore our local voice, and demand energy solutions for the 21st century. Thank you.
Is Tom Young here? Okay.
I'm Mike Smith, and I'm from the city of Jonesville. However, I am here on behalf of the Hillsdale County Community Foundation. On behalf of the Hillsdale County Community Foundation, I wish to clarify our position and perceived support of the Heartwood Solar proposed project. The Hillsdale County Community Foundation maintains committed to our long-standing mission of serving all members of the community. To maintain our focus on this mission, it is our policy to neither publicly support nor oppose specific local issues that may divide the residents that we serve. It has come to our attention that unauthorized quotes from our organization and our president have been used by Ranger Power to suggest an official endorsement of the Heartwood Solar 2 project. These statements were taken out of context, used without our permission, and do not reflect our current position. We sincerely apologize for any confusion this has caused. The foundation's commitment to supporting our community and its residents remains strong. As our current charitable relationship with Power Ranger is no longer seen as community support, we have made the decision to take a step back. Due to a series of missteps, we feel the original intent of the foundation has been compromised and can no longer take a positive impact in the Jonesville area. We have never received any money for an endowment fund, and all funding for direct community giving has been dispersed. We ask for the community's grace and understanding as we move forward. Our goal remains to find the most effective ways to support the diverse needs of our county residents. We are dedicated to ensuring a voice is used only to foster unity and provide meaningful service to the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Michael Jordan. I've been asked to read a letter from Kevin.
Michael, can you pull the mic down toward you, please?
Is this better?
It is.
Okay, thank you. My name is Michael Jordan. I've been asked to read a letter from Kevin Lavin. He owns property on North Adams Road, and he has asked me to read this letter for him and for his wife, Kathy. 2 years ago, we purchased 23 acres of farmland on North Adams that will be directly flanked by the solar project on the west and northern sides. We object to the plan to turn much of the farmland in Fayette Township into a glaring sea of industrial eyesore. The truth is, the energy company executives and our corrupt state officials are on the same side of the coin. They are both using our money to advance their nefarious objectives. In fact, the state has already used $675,000 of taxpayer money to encourage township officials to accept this egregious disruption of a bucolic farm town. As this project moves forward, the state is most certainly going to use more of our money to provide grants and donations to local schools and other community interests. This is an attempt to mollify residents and pretend that this is some kind of altruistic program that benefits everyone. Nothing could be further from the truth. In 2023, the current governor signed a package of climate bills requiring 100% clean energy for electric providers by 2040. That is why the highly regulated, that is subsidized, energy industry has such an incestuous relationship with Michigan state politicians. When laws codify irrational and impossible goals by fiat, you get malicious projects like the Heartwood 2 solar project. Sad truth is that Ranger Power does not care whether this solar project succeeds or even produces a single kilowatt of power. Not one person working on this project has a salary based on how much energy it produces. That is why Ranger Power does not care if you tell them that it is cloudy 200 plus days per year in Hillsdale. We have snow and ice 5 months per year. We have hailstones, storms, we have tornadoes, we have dust storms, we have lightning strikes. Ranger Power does not care that properties adjacent to their panels are being devalued, nor are they compensating these property owners. They also do not care that they are disrupting the habitats of many animals. These include deer, owls, eagles, and bees, to mention a few. There is also...
Thank you.
Kevin does say, the rant is over, and thank you, commissioners, for letting me speak. I only ask you please to do the right thing.
Any other speakers?
Sylvia Valdez. I live on 482 Salem Drive. I recently heard on the news that another 1,000 acres of farmland was near Lansing was being proposed for another solar project. Our farmland is disappearing at an alarming rate, and so the alarm bells should be going off in each and every one of our minds. I urge this board to ponder the decisions that they will make, which will affect not only the people in this room, but also the future generations. Solar panels do not give us food. The land is what feeds us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Steve Oleskowitz, 4767 Athens Lake Road, Fayette Township. And I will not get through this whole one, I'll just start it and we'll finish later. As recently as 3 weeks ago, oral arguments were held in the Michigan Court of Appeals regarding a class action lawsuit against the MPSC regarding the liberal interpretation of PA 233 and the claim that townships, that's you, do not have the final authority to deny solar development. Now, this is not some trivial court case. This is 72 Michigan townships, 7 counties, even the Michigan Township Association, and your very own attorneys fighting the Public Service Commission on this. Unsolicited, one of the judges made a very clear statement. These type of developments do not belong anywhere near a school. Harvard 2 will be directly adjacent to this very building. So let's establish something right out of the gate. The idea that you're powerless is not true. This court case is about a blanket override authority the MPSC has given itself, not authority granted by legislation, but by liberal, agenda-driven interpretation of PA 233. It has been being challenged right now at the highest levels. Bills have already been passed by the House and sitting in the Senate to restore some sanity to this process. Bills have also been introduced at the state level to stop the net zero 2040 mandates that weaken our grid and skyrocket our utility bills. Which means tonight is not about what you can do, it's whether you are willing to do what you are appointed to do. Because your role is not administrative, your role is not procedural. Your role is protective. You are the last line of defense between this community and a permanent land use decision that cannot be undone. Let's talk about the scale of what's in front of you. Fayette Township is on the verge of crossing a line that should stop this body in its tracks. 26.2% of our farmland. Think about it. 1 out of every 4 acres of productive agricultural land in this township gone, converted, industrialized. That's not incremental change. That's not balanced development. That is a transformation of this community. And once that transformation happens, there is no reversing it. No reclamation plan is going to restore generational farmland to what it is. No decommissioning agreement is going to bring back the rural character of this township because the damage isn't physical, just physical. It's economic, it's social, and it's permanent. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jeff Horton, live in Hillsdale. We all are learning from what is happening around the country that the Green New Deal is really dead. The idea of climate change that has been sold to government agencies such as Michigan's is now on the retreat. These things, this project is a boondoggle created by a lot of money destined towards people in rural areas who can afford to refuse it least. And unfortunately, there's a certain amount of momentum to this. But as I see it, the ship is about to right itself. Michigan shut down the Palisades nuclear plant, along with a lot of other people, a lot of other states and countries that have now decided that that was a very poor thing to do. It's now being restarted by the feds. As soon as the state wakes up and decides to go decides to go nuclear, these solar items are going to become worthless. The expensive electricity will not be marketable. If this project actually comes to fruition, I will know that somebody somewhere along the line drank the Kool-Aid. I'm 84 as we speak. If it happens, that's probably all the incentive I would need to live out the other 20 years so I can call whoever's still there to tell you we told you so. This project needs to be stopped at all costs. When I moved here, we moved from a house we built. I could do anything with that house. It was my privilege. When we moved into our place here, which was an 1890 house, I realized that I simply purchased the right to be a custodian to that house, which has nurtured families before and will nurture families after us. It was a privilege that I purchased. All of that land we're talking about was cleared by families who worked hard to clear the land and drain it, and to be good custodians of the land. There have been good custodians in the meantime, but it would appear to me that those who are willing to put solar are betraying their custodianship of that land. Thank you.
My name is David Danford, Fayette Township resident. Good, time's going. I don't know where we are in comment. We've got 3 comment sections on the agenda tonight, so I hope we're just going to get through this quickly. Everyone here knows that you guys should say no to solar. I think you guys should know that at this point. If you don't, something's wrong. There's been a lot of reasons stated for that. You're going to have to sit through this meeting time and again. Every time we don't say no, this is going to keep coming up, and we're going to keep showing up. So thanks for everyone being here tonight. There's a prudent path forward, though, and we can do this together. First, this is a new application under new law. They amended their application under a new law. You guys should treat this like a new application, which means it needs to be referred back to legal counsel for review, for completeness, and for review. All right, that should take some time, and you guys should take that time and do that right. Second of all, you should wait until you have a new zoning administrator. I would say preferably one with a backbone and who isn't so chummy with those who have their land in solar and who isn't confused about the law and what it allows us to do. We've heard time and time again that if we say no, we lose control. That's ludicrous. We should say no, and we won't lose control. So please find someone who is competent in the law and not partial to this. Then consider it slowly. Release everything you have from the application to the public. There's lots of channels to get that out to the people. Everyone in this room has lots of avenues at this point. We've been building them. We're very serious about it. All you do is post it on the county website, and we will do the rest. Take your time. Let us review it. You review it. All right? And then we should have a public hearing again. And it'll be nice and civil, and we'll have to all sit through this again. It's our duty as citizens and your duty as the Planning Commission to do this well and do this carefully. And then, after all that, you should still say no. Say no to Ranger Power and to their corrupt scheme and the chance for them to destroy our way of life. And we should take it to the state. It's better to say no and to fight this at the state. Even if we lose there, and we won't, we have better protections. That's what the law says. That's the way it is. But you know what? We're not going to lose for a host of reasons. It's an unreasonable amount of farmland. There's obvious protections for the environment involved. There's court battles involved that are going to overturn this in time. So you should have confidence that if we do have to go to the state, which we may not even have to do, we will win if we go there, and you should be willing to do that. So, again, we won't lose. You can say no. We can fight this. We can protect our community. We all believe that you guys can do that. We ask that you do your job, protect this community, and in the end, we will thank you for your very hard work. Thank you.
Frank Bayless, Hillsdale College. Let me start here. This is not an anti-solar comment. It's a pro-community comment. We already host Heartwood 1. Many acres of farmland there. With Heartwood 2, as it was stated earlier, we're going to be north of
Frank, can you step just a little closer?
We're going to be north of 26% of the farmland, as Steve pointed out. At what point do we stop and ask how much is enough? This project would commit an inordinate percentage of our township, or your township, to long-term industrial use, as many have said. I don't want to reiterate everything, but I'm going to pickpocket some folks who have spoken before in previous sessions. We've heard it said, both by the Ranger Power folks as well as others in the meeting, that landowners should be able to do what they want to profit from their land. That's antithetical to the very concept of zoning. Zoning exists specifically to prevent uses that impose harm on the broader community. If anything goes with a standard, I should be able to put a nuclear power plant in my backyard, but I can't because that would adversely impact my neighbors. It would also be an eyesore. It'd be all the same things that Mr. Miller was told, why he couldn't put a second bay in his garage. A presumably profitable, going concern business in the township, and you can't grow it because it would be an eyesore and increase traffic to his neighbors. So, if a reputable business can't grow due to zoning concerns, why are we papering our entire countryside with solar panels in the name of freedom? It's not. There's negative externalities on the neighbors. That's why there's so many people with these things. Another gentleman last time, I believe his name was George, mentioned herbicides and pesticides. He made a great, I thought it was a great comment. To reduce fire risk, these facilities rely on herbicides and pesticides. Chemicals like glyphosate, atrazine, Google them. They don't do good things to the human body, especially if they end up in water. And that's been the concern. But the retort has been that solar panels are not toxic. Well, the panels may not be, but the things that they spray to keep the weeds down and to keep pests away are. Fayette Township should not be asked to carry an outsized burden so others can claim benefits. And before someone starts, you can spare me the tax benefits and the generational wealth that a few families might get out of this. In reality, it's an imbalance. You've got less than a dozen people who stand to make a lot of money, and everyone else's property values are going to go into the tank. So I'd ask that you draw a line here, as everyone said. If you don't, this isn't the last of it. Next will be batteries, data centers, etc. So even if people don't care, even if they don't like their neighbors, you can send a message to Lansing by voting this down. If they want to be totalitarians because their masters over in Davos demand it, pull their card, make them take their mask off.
Thank you.
Brian Corbett, Jonesville. Some of the figures I'm going to give you I took from the internet, and we know how accurate that is. Most of us are here to oppose the solar project, as am I. We already have enough land covered with the least efficient form of electric generation, 15 to 20%, and that decreases over time. It is estimated that by 2030, there will be more than 1 million tons of waste material from solar panels that have reached the end of their useful life. Although 85% of the materials in the panels can be recycled, it is not yet cost-effective to do so. I haven't heard of battery storage for this project, but we can see by the way that electric vehicles burn up that battery technology is not up to the task. Keep in mind that the first electric power vehicles were developed in the 1890s, a guy named Henry Ford put them out of business because his vehicles are about half the cost. I urge you to vote no for this and all future solar projects in Fayette Township. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Smith. I live on the corner of Ball Road and Hillsdale Road in Fayette Township. First of all, I just want to thank you guys for your service to the community. Being on a planning commission before, I know it's a lot of hard work. I appreciate it. I've lived in this area for nearly 40 years. I want to maybe ask us, all of us, to picture a few beautiful scenes here in Michigan, especially all of us being from Michigan. Maybe picture Lake Michigan. And then picture being on the beach and seeing windmills off in the distance. Or maybe being up in the dunes, Sleeping Bear Dunes, and seeing industrial parks along the landscape there. And then picture our very own rolling hills and dales. How many of you have driven by that corner of Hillsdale to Ball Road? I'm sure most of you have, and I'm sure most of you have here as well. I've driven by that curve my entire life. It's actually where I now live with my wife and 7 children. It's one of the most beautiful scenes in this whole area. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. I've had many people remark to myself and others as one of the most beautiful scenes in Hillsdale County. Oftentimes you will see people standing by the roadside taking pictures, or studying by there, or just parking their car and taking in the view. We fondly call it the Shire. That scene will never be the same if this goes through. You will have giant power poles like the ones that you see by Meyer and Aldi going across that landscape. At the top of that scene, you will see solar panels along that ridge. Now at the same time, I'm grateful to that farmer who owns that bottom of that valley, because he could have put solar across the entire thing and has not, and I'm grateful for that. However, that scene, among many others in our area, will not be the same. And I guess I would encourage us to kind of go back to that master plan that Fayette Township and Jonesville put together years ago. For the section from that, natural features, goals, and policies. The natural beauty and features that make this area a desirable rural village community will be preserved and enhanced by encouraging responsible development that respects the small town and rural character of the area. So I would encourage you to vote no on this and to save the Shire.
Sorry.
Linda Mudge, Fayette Township. At some of these meetings regarding solar farms, the issue of property rights has come up. It has been mentioned that a potential leaseholder has the right to lease his property to a solar developer, in this case Ranger Power for Heartwood 2. What are private property rights? In short, they are the property owner's right to do what they are legally allowed to do with their property, as long as their actions have no material adverse impacts on their neighbors or the rest of the community. If the focus is on rights, what about the fundamental rights that nearby homeowners have regarding this solar project? Who is protecting those? Should a leaseholder who wants to make a quick buck really have the right to undermine their neighbor's peaceful use and enjoyment of their houses? The leaseholder's private property rights are important and should be carefully considered. However, their rights have limits. Consider the following impacts Heartwood 2 would have on neighboring homes and the community. 1, devaluing proximate homes. 2, causing pollution and other interference with aquifers. 3, harm to wildlife in the community. 4, degrading the ecosystem in the area. 5, impacting hunting in nearby lands. 6, raising electricity rates in the region. And these are but a few of the negative effects of this proposed solar project. Likely, the landowners and the developer will deny that these can happen. An easy solution would be for Ranger Power to provide a written, legal, financially backed guarantee against all of these. I don't think Ranger Power wants to be a so-called good neighbor, as Brady keeps telling us. Rather, they just want another acquisition and another and another. Don't be fooled by their sugar-coated words. Protect the community you serve and listen to your constituents. And lastly, I want to emphasize that you have the legal right, based on our ordinances, to reject this proposal. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Beth DeBrosi. We're building on 14 Wildlife Drive. It's in Hillsdale. It was annexed from Fayette Township. I'm going to use these 3 minutes in this portion to talk about the travesty of the decommissioning proposal. You should deny this on that information alone. I see here in this document that Ranger Power commits again to only provide financial assurance in the form of a surety bond in an amount not less than the net decommissioning cost. Now, what does that mean, net? It means that you have a cost to decommission those fields. And that cost is primarily disassembling, disposal, and a little bit for restoration. Then they subtract this huge salvage estimate, and the township is left with this inadequate amount of money that they're going to bond. Now, given that, I want to talk about other things that are problematic than the net math. The wording is designed to make you feel like they're the good guys and that they're being very conservative about the salvage value. And what do they know? Well, they know that the salvage cannot be predicted accurately 40 years out. It's a crapshoot. The salvage market is extremely volatile. All these industrial scale solar projects going up right now are going to be decommissioned at the same time in about 40 years. The whole thing could collapse because the salvage estimates aren't reliable. And that will leave Fayette Township with a huge funding gap. You already have that. It's going to happen with Heartwood 1. Don't make the same mistake. Make them shoulder the risk. Why aren't they said it again in what I just got today. Why aren't they offering the gross amount? All right, now let's talk about that gross amount because it's wholly inadequate. At the state level, there's all kinds of townships, and they've mentioned those, that are up against Ranger Power. And when you dig into those cases, independent studies show $15,000 per acre is probably what it's going to cost to decommission a field. What are they offering you? They're offering $7 million instead of $15 million. That's a big gap. After subtracting salvage, Ranger Power is saying
Thank you.
You're going to have a piddling $2 million.
Thank you. Thank you very much.